Hello everybody, so my name is Gilberto Cetina. I'm the chef and owner of Holbox and Chichen Itza restaurant here at Mercado La Paloma. We are Feast's neighbors here at Mercado. And I wanted to thank everybody for purchasing our Scallop Cook at Home kit that we developed in collaboration with Feast. This is a great way for families to come together in the kitchen and explore food, learn about nutrition, learn about food culture, and create food memories around the kitchen table. I grew up in a family that was always cooking. We were always in the kitchen, and we have a lot of memories just around eating, cooking, talking about food. And in my case, in my house, we were a house that we were always cooking to make ends meet. So that was how I kind of got my start in the kitchen, along with my sister, helping my parents do things like, prep for tamales and things like that. So I have a lot of really positive memories about being, as a child, being in the kitchen with my family. And I think Feast family feeding program is a way for all the members of the program to also create those kinds of memories. So anyway, we're doing this kit. It's a scallop taco kit, and we decided to do scallops because we think that it's something that is very doable at home, but a lot of people have never actually done. It might seem a little intimidating cooking scallops, but it's actually very easy. You don't need a lot of equipment. You just need, for this entire recipe, we're just gonna use 2 pans. And in our kit, everything is gonna be prepped out. Everything is gonna be cut up, portioned out for you to assemble and finish in the kitchen. So I wanna show you the contents of the kit first. So you can see we have the kit right here. Everything is prepped out in little bags, and everything is labeled and has a letter on it. And the recipes will tell you, first you start with bag A and you're gonna put it here, and it'll guide you through the recipe that way till you have a finished dish. So we're gonna go ahead and start and prepare this recipe. And so here we have a saucepan or a saute pan or any kind of wide pan would work for this. So we're gonna heat this up about medium heat, right? And we're gonna start just with a little bit of vegetable oil. Now this can be canola oil, it can be corn oil, grapeseed oil. This is canola oil. Just a little bit of oil. And we're gonna add to this pan the white onions. Now the white onions go in first. We want these onions to sweat, slightly caramelized before we add the mushrooms to it. So this recipe is, it's called Scallops con rajas and hongo. So rajas is what in Mexico we call roasted strips of pepper. In this case, it's Poblano pepper. This pepper has, as part of the prep that we do in advance for this kit, the pepper has been roasted. And it has been peeled. So we do roast it over a wood burning fire, so you might get a little bit of that smokiness. And at home, if you're doing this recipe from scratch and you don't have the prepped out ingredients, you can roast the pepper over a open burner on a gas stove or on a grill. We get these onions going. So for the mushrooms in this, now a typical rajas recipe doesn't always include mushrooms, but I love mushrooms. I think mushrooms are delicious. They're super nutritious and a little bit underutilized in recipes like this. So we're gonna go ahead and add mushrooms. In your kit, you're gonna have cremini mushrooms, but really you can use any mushroom that you like or any mushroom that you have on hand. Button mushrooms work well, oyster mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, anything. Raise the temperature a little bit. Okay, so the mushrooms are gonna go in. And mushrooms have a lot of moisture. We wanna cook out the moisture in the mushrooms until they're reduced by about half by volume. To do that, that's why we wanna use this kind of wide pan to allow a lot of surface area to cook the mushrooms and the steam to rise away so the moisture can evaporate. But we're also going to add a little bit of salt right now, and the salt helps draw out the moisture in the mushrooms. We'll adjust the seasoning when we're finished at the end, but for now, just a little bit to help out with the cooking of the mushrooms. So while the mushrooms are cooking, these are going to reduce, and we're going to add the roasted poblanos, and we're going to add the cream. Let me talk a little bit about the scallops. So Holbox is a Mexican restaurant that focuses on using high quality, sustainable ingredients in coastal Mexican cuisine. So we use recipes from all different regions of Mexico. And to execute those recipes, we will use ingredients from Mexico or local ingredients. Or in this case, these scallops are not local; they're an East Coast scallop. Scallops are super sustainable if you're buying a diver scallop. So what is a diver scallop? A lot of times we hear a diver scallop. Diver literally means that somebody dove down and picked up the scallop. As opposed to another method of harvesting wild scallops is dredging the bottom of the ocean. And we avoid actually not just with scallops, but with any seafood that is caught that way, because there's a lot of byproduct in that fishing method. And by byproducts means the dredge will pick up everything and anything that is in its way, while they're looking for the target species, which are scallops. So these scallops were actually pulled out of the ocean by somebody. They were shucked, and then the what we typically know or call a scallop, which is right here, is the adductor muscle of that bivalve. So scallop is a bivalve. It has two shells, and this part that we eat and typically know as a scallop is the muscle that opens and closes the shell. All right, these mushrooms are looking great. So we've got a little bit of caramelization on the mushrooms and on the onions. As you can see at the bottom of the pan is starting to color a little bit. That is good. Caramelization always means flavor. We're going to add the roasted poblanos. So again, these were already roasted, peeled, seeded, and sliced into that shape that we call rajas in Mexican food. Just means strips, basically. Now, again, if you're doing this at home and you're doing it from scratch, you want to buy some nice round poblano peppers. You're going to put them on an open burner and turn them frequently. Imagine, like an abuelita or a mom making chile rellenos. It's the same thing. You want to completely char the chile from the outside so the skin blisters and you can peel that off easily. After that, you're going to slice the pepper open and optionally take out all the seeds or leave some of the seeds in. We took all the seeds out because we don't know what your spice level is. And poblanos don't tend to be super spicy, but all right. So because the poblanos have previously, when we prepared them, we roasted them. They're already semi-cooked. So that roasting process cooks them about half the way there. So they're not going to take a long time. These look like they're about ready, and they've softened up. The flavors are melding with the mushrooms and the onions and the poblano peppers. For our last step, we're going to add cream. So we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of cream. And the cream is also part of the kit. So far, everything that we've used, except the little bit of vegetable oil that we started with, is going to be part of the kit. All right. So that cream, we're going to lower the heat. Right there. And we're just going to let that cook for another 5 minutes. And in these 5 minutes, the cream is going to reduce by half. It's going to get a very nice, almost really thick, like a saucy-like consistency. And it's also gonna pick up all of the brown bits on the bottom of the pan and make this kind of delicious, creamy, slightly green colored because of the Poblano pepper sauce. And then you can make this in advance, even a day in advance. If you're gonna prepare this a day in advance, when you reheat it, you're just gonna add a little bit of milk, not cream. That'll make it too rich if you keep on adding cream and it's reducing. But you can add a little bit of milk, even a little bit of a 2% low-fat milk, and just to bring this up to temperature again. So right now we're gonna put this aside, and we're gonna start on the scallops. All right, so we got another pan here. Now I love using carbon steel and cast iron. This is a carbon steel pan. What you want when cooking scallops is something that is non-stick, something that you're pretty confident that it is a pretty non-stick surface. We use these carbon steel pans and season them and cure them. But you can use any kind of non-stick pan that you have at home. So to cook the scallops, we're not going to use oil. We're going to use clarified butter. Why clarified butter? Because the flavor of scallops cooked in butter is fantastic. It's so much better than oil. And clarified because we want the butter to have a high smoke point. We're going to use high heat here, and we don't want the butter to burn. Now when you're cooking with butter, the thing that burns first are the butter solids that are in the butter. So here those have been removed, and it's just like a clear liquid. So we're going to go ahead and start by pouring about 2 tablespoons of clarified butter in our pan. And then our scallops here. We're going to season the scallops on both sides. And you can be quite generous when you're seasoning the scallops. A lot of the salt, lower that a little bit. A lot of the salt will fall off the scallop when you're cooking it, and you're also cooking something that is very thick, and you're only seasoning it on the surface. So you should be generous with the salt that goes on the surface. Flip those over. So we got a nice high heat that clarified butter is smoking. We're just gonna drop the scallops in and make sure they're flat when they're going on the pan. Okay, so this high heat, what we're looking for with the scallops is to create a crust on the first side. Both sides we want a little bit of caramelization, but this first side is critical. We're gonna create a nice brown surface, a nice crust. Then we're gonna flip them over, we're gonna lower the heat, and we're gonna let the heat gently come to the center of the scallop. Now, you don't want to overcook the scallops. You want them to be just warmed through in the center, but have that nice caramelization on the surface, and that's really what's going to give it kind of that characteristic scallop flavor. So far, what we've done, we heated up the pan, added clarified butter, seasoned the scallops, dropped the scallops in, and that's it. Not really complicated. I mean, cooking scallops at home is very simple. You can make this really high quality, like gourmet restaurant type meal with these nice, beautiful seared scallops that can be paired with a lot of different things. Today we're doing them with rajas and hongos, but mashed potatoes, pastas, anything, chilaquiles, I don't know. Scallops will make anything better. Okay, so the scallops you're getting there, we're getting really nice caramelization. I can already see the browning of the surface of the scallop kind of coming up, creeping up from the bottom of the pan. That's what you want to look for. Look for that that color starting to come up. Once you can see this line of brown kind of coming up the scallop, then start flipping them over and seeing where they're at. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one here, and that one is beautiful. So that's what we're looking for there. We're looking for this kind of golden brown color. And these are beautiful. Ready to go. Okay. You know, some of them are not colored as well as the others, but that's okay. They're still going to be delicious. And once we flip them over and we've got this nice color on them, we're gonna turn the heat down. We're gonna turn the heat down just so we're very careful not to overcook them. We want to be gentle at this point. Let the heat in the pan carry up through the scallop. And as you can see, nothing got stuck to the pan. It's super important that you use some kind of non-stick pan. And all right, so real quick, while this is finishing up, we've got our rajas done. We've got our scallops just finishing to cook through. So the garnish for the dish, we have fennel and chives here. All right, we're just gonna put these in the bowl. And then we're gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on there. Of salt. And give that a good mix. So we've got all of our components ready to go. All right. And then plating up is super simple. We're just gonna spoon. So this that we made here is a portion for 2 people. So we're doing 4 scallops, and then half of the rajas in the pan. It's okay. On there. Okay. This goes great with some nice bread, any kind of bread you want to do, even with tortillas. And we're going to 4 of these guys on there. Get one of the ones that didn't get a lot of color. 4 scallops. And a little bit of this fennel salad. That's it. So this is the rajas con hongos with pan-seared scallops from Feast and Holbox's Finish at Home kit. So, you know, like I mentioned, not super hard to do. Very simple, something fun for the kids and parents to do together. Please, we want to see your experience in the kitchen with your families producing this food at home. So when you post, go ahead and post on social, Feast with Holbox. Let me repeat that one more time. So go ahead and take pictures, take videos of you and your family doing this, and post on your social media with the hashtag Feast with Holbox. So we can, so you guys can share your experience preparing these meals, and so we can also see, you know, what you guys have done with these beautiful cook-at-home kits.